folks, I am happy to announce that Donald Trump has had a terrible week, whether it be his disastrous trip to Asia or the many different embarrassments he suffered here at home. He's not having a good time. And the saying goes, a bad day for Donald Trump is a great day for America. But I really want to focus with you today on the Republicans who have publicly turned on Donald Trump in just the past week, doing something that he certainly wouldn't approve of. And there's multiple different examples, believe it or not. So look, we're going to get into all of this and more. But before I do that, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It really goes such an incredibly long way. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you folks at home. Drop a like on the video, comment. I just want to do a quick check-in. Just let me know how you're doing with everything. I know it is so overwhelming. It can feel really depressing, and it's easy to become cynical in these times. I get it. So just check in with me in the comments. I'll read them, and I'm always happy to hear from you folks. But look, without further ado, don't want to waste any more time. Let's dive in. Let's just start with Donald Trump's this proposal he put forward. This is a new one for Donald Trump. Just randomly on October 30th, so 2 days ago, Donald Trump at 10:36 p.m. in the middle of the night said, because of the fact that Democrats have gone stone cold crazy, according to Donald Trump, the choice is clear. Initiate the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster, and make America great again. So this is new for Donald Trump, saying let's get rid of the filibuster so the Republicans can pass basically any policy they want, since they have the majority in the Senate, the House, and of course, the presidency. Donald Trump previously slammed the Democrats for doing it, saying that they're trying to have a tyrannical overtaking of the government, whatever the hell that means. And now he seems to be interested, but not so fast. Donald Trump's push to abolish the Senate filibuster hit immediate Republican resistance. Immediately, Republicans are like, we're not a fan of that. Donald Trump, this is according to NBC News, Donald Trump is pushing Senate Republicans to abolish the 60-vote filibuster rule in order to reopen the shuttered government without Democratic votes. That's where it starts, but then he would want the filibuster removed to expand executive power, allow him to do more damage in the country. But in a rarity for the president, and that is the truth, he's hitting firm and immediate resistance from his own party. He said, of course, it is now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. He wrote in a pair of late-night social media posts Thursday, well, now we are in power, and if we did what we should be doing, it would immediately end this ridiculous country-destroying shutdown. Senate Republican leaders have been outspoken in their support for the 60-vote rule to pass most bills. The new majority leader, John Thune from South Dakota, promised shortly after the 2024 election that the filibuster would remain unchanged. But then a spokesperson for him said Leader Thune's position on the importance of the legislative filibuster is unchanged. A spokesperson for the Senate Majority Whip, John Barrasso, Republican from Wyoming, said Senator Barrasso's support for the filibuster is unchanged. Senator John Curtis, Republican from Utah, said that he was a firm no on getting rid of the filibuster. Quote, the filibuster forces us to find common ground in the Senate, Curtis said, referring to a headline about Trump's comments. Power changes hands, but principles shouldn't. I'm a firm no on eliminating it. Yet the conversation about the filibuster escalated on Capitol Hill even before Trump's comments after Senator Bernie Moreno appeared on Fox News days into the shutdown and called on his party to eliminate the filibuster. But you have a bunch of Republican senators coming out and saying, we're not fans of this. We don't want to do it. We're not interested in removing the filibuster. So that in and of itself is egg on the face of Donald Trump. That's a failure for Donald Trump. He tried to push his party into doing something that they didn't want to do, and they didn't do it. But here's another one. A couple of different losses for Donald Trump surrounding the same topic. On this channel, on this show, we covered a story recently about Donald Trump targeting Canada for no good reason. He claimed that Canada, specifically Ontario, ran an ad, a fake ad, a artificial intelligence generated ad of Ronald Reagan attacking tariffs, saying, tariffs are bad, tariffs cause harm for jobs in the United States, industry in the United States. And so Donald Trump put out this on Truth Social saying Canada was caught red-handed, putting up a fraudulent advertisement on Ronald Reagan's speech on tariffs. The Reagan Foundation said they created an ad using selective audio and video of Reagan. The ad misrepresents the presidential radio address. The Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation is reviewing its legal options. The sole purpose of this fraud according to Donald Trump, this is now his words, was Canada's hope that the United States Supreme Court will come to their rescue on tariffs that they have used for years to hurt the United States. So apparently, according to Donald Trump, Canada is using an AI ad to bribe the Supreme Court or convince them to get rid of his tariffs. This guy really does live in fantasy land. He sundowns at 4:30 in the afternoon. Now, the United States is able to defend itself against high and overbearing Canadian tariffs. Reagan loved tariffs for the purpose of national security and the economy, but Canada said he didn't. Their advertisement was to be taken down immediately, but they let it run last night during the World Series, knowing that it was a fraud. Because of their serious misrepresentation of the facts, I am increasing the tariffs on Canada by 10%. So Donald Trump, based off his belief that the ad was AI, which it wasn't, decided to raise tariffs by 10% on Canada. But then that even was too far for Republicans in the Senate, because 4 Senate Republicans joined Democrats to rebuke Trump. Say, hey, we're not doing it. The Senate voted 50-46 on Wednesday to eliminate Donald Trump's authority to impose steep tariffs on Canada, something he exercised again in recent days by ramping up tariffs on the country by another 10% because of a television ad that criticized his policies. What a man-child. I mean, that sentence really just shows you what a child stuck in an unfortunate grown man's body Donald Trump is. 4 Republicans joined with Democrats to repeal the tariffs. Those were Senator Susan Collins, Mitch McConnell, Lisa Murkowski, and Rand Paul. They already did so earlier this year when the Senate voted on April 2nd to pass the same measure. The resolution sponsor, Senator Tim Kaine, brought the measure back to the Senate floor this week because the Republican-controlled House has refused to act on it. And that still has to go through the House. So the chance of that happening, not great. But also, in addition to that, 4 GOP senators, in addition to the Canada tariffs being overturned, joined the Democrats to rebuke Trump on his tariffs for a 3rd time this week. And this time it was for Brazil, which is great. The last of these votes, a measure approved Thursday to roll back global tariffs announced by Trump in April, passed by a margin of 51-47. Democrats cleared the measure with support from these 4 Republicans. And of course, Brazil was part of that package. As we mentioned, it was sponsored by Senator Tim Kaine, brought to the floor by Senator Tim Kaine. So you have, at least in the Senate right now, Brazil tariffs being overturned, Canadian tariffs being overturned, and other countries having their tariffs overturned, trying to take that power away from Donald Trump because clearly he can't act responsibly with it. So look, you have the Republicans not bending the knee, at least on, some topics, on the filibuster voting to overturn his tariffs. It was only 4 Republicans, but they got the job done, got the necessary votes. These are some pretty major and public rebukes of Donald Trump, something that I don't think he or his administration was expecting. They did it while Donald Trump was abroad, so maybe they tried to do it when he wouldn't be focused on them and could attack them. And so far, he hasn't yet on social media. I will update you if he does. But yeah, a bad week for Donald Trump. His trip to Asia went poorly. His own party is saying, just can't get behind some of these things, which, that in and of itself is a win for the United States. So look, I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I just had to show you some of Donald Trump's failures. As I said, it's a great day for America. So make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment. Let me know what you think about the story. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.